We're now with Ellie Greenberg.
Hey everybody! Everyone say hi to Ellie Greenberg. Ellie, how many years did you live in Amona?
I lived in Amona in the past 13 years since the summer of 2004.
Okay, so Ellie is one of the families. Him and his family. How many children?
I have 8 kids.
8 kids.
Four
Kanai
of
Nahara.
them- Yeah, 4 of them were born in Amona.
4 of them born in Amona, and now where are we right now?
We're now in
Ari Fold is in. Say hi to Ari.
Hi, Ari.
So where are we right now?
We're now in the Midrasha. It's an educational center that the 42 families of Amona now reside in after we were expelled from Amona several weeks ago.
They were expelled from their homes. Their homes were destroyed, and now they live in a dormitory. Check this out. This is a dormitory. How many kids are in this room? This is a different family's room, actually.
Yeah.
This is a six beds. You see bunk beds. 1 bunk bed, 2, 3. So room for 6 children. And I don't know if the family here has 6 kids, but they're now living in
they definitely
dormitory.
have 6 kids.
They definitely have. They have more than 6.
Yeah, and the one,
More than
and
six.
one, I think they have 7. One got married and now lives in a room.
Somewhere,
a
her own room.
A room of her own.
She has her own
Virginia
dorm
Woolf, I
room.
think, no?
Now you have to see this. You have to live with humor. So you still have to have humor no matter what you go through. Is that correct, Ellie?
Definitely.
All right. So here we are in the kids' room. Now let's go to the parents' room, right?
Okay.
Let's go. Walk with us. Let's go. God help the internet connection here. Here we are in a dorm room where representative.
This is the kitchen, by the way.
This is the kitchen that a family gets. The whole kitchen and bathroom all in one. Right? Is this a shower back here? I guess.
Yeah, the shower is there.
Oh, here's the bathroom and shower. We're walking in.
Another tiny
Right,
kitchen.
here's the bathroom over here. And now we're in the parents' suite. Ready? Look at the parents' suite. They get their own bunk bed. Isn't that sweet? The parents get their own bunk bed in the dorm room. This is such a sad situation. And I'm talking about it. Ellie's living it. Ellie and the fellow families here. We just came from lunch, right? Let's tell everyone. Where did we eat lunch, Ellie? Where does everyone eat lunch every day?
How do you say the common?
The dining hall.
Yeah.
The communal dining hall, right?
Yeah, so this is where the kids eat breakfast, take sandwiches to school, some fruits, and then we gather again between 1 to 3 p.m. have some lunch later
In the
on.
communal dining hall. They are living like a kibbutz, right? You didn't know you were going to be a kibbutznik. You didn't know you were going to live in a kibbutz.
I thought I was, a settler, a pioneer. Now I became a kibbutznik.
Right? Going back in time and settling the land of Israel. But
Yeah.
seriously, you have 42 families who get together in a communal lunchroom for 3 meals a day, every single day. Now, I'm sure they love each other very much, and they're very close friends. But sometimes you want some family privacy.
Yeah.
And
If you want that, go find yourself, go get yourself a room in a hotel or something,
Okay.
or somewhere else. We had to beg some aunts and good people. People came over and simply said, "You want to have my room and my place for the weekend? We go visit our grandmas." So people here wander from here to there to get some privacy, some family time. It's rough, but it's like living in a small, tiny galut in the midst of the Eretz Yisrael. So somehow you get used to it, after the time passes. But right now,
shows you can get used to anything. If you have to, you can get used to anything.
If you have to, you get used to everything. Right now, in transition, we left Amona. We are trying to put all the pressure we can on the government to fulfill the contract they signed with us. Prime Minister Netanyahu's signature is on a paper.
Yeah, come, let's sit down. Let's sit down.
Okay.
Go. So they even have a nice little couch here.
Okay, so Prime Minister Netanyahu's signature is signed on a contract he signed with us that he's going to build a new settlement starting no later than March 31st. But right now...
Really? This contract is that it will start being built no later than March 31st?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But right now, so many officials in the civil administration are putting, all the hurdles that they can, and Netanyahu, aside from promising a new village, nothing actually happened. And we're now here on the on
7 weeks.
Passover. Yeah, it's 7 weeks. 7 weeks
They've-
of Sfirat Omer. Now we're about
Right,
to.
they've been living. They were expelled from their home 7 weeks ago. They're
Yeah.
still living in these temporary
February
conditions for
1st.
seven
we were
weeks.
expelled.
Right, and the Pesach holiday is coming
Yes,
up.
Pesach is coming, and we're going to. We just had our Yitzias Mitzrayim. We.
Oh my God, that's so horrible.
So it's now metaphorically we're now in the desert and basically hung in the air, and the situation is really grave. You know, I'm smiling because you know how long can you make sour face for for 7 weeks.
Right.
And
By the way, everyone, please share this video so people can see the truth about Eli. Again, I'm here sitting with Eli Greenberg from Amona, Elad Ziv. I think this is Elad Ziv's new home in this. Here's
this is
Elad.
not a new home.
This is a
temporary one.
Temporary. I'm making fun of the fact of calling it a home. It's sad that this is a home, but please, I want people to see the truth. These are the real people of Amona, not just headlines. They're not even in the headlines anymore. Please share this video so people can see the truth and have empathy and understanding of what the families of Amona are going through today, the reality on the ground of what they're experiencing. Here we are in Elad's, again, I'm making a joke, it's home, but it's the dormitory room here in
He
Ofra.
thought he finished high school 25 years ago. or
Right. Right. Yeah, they thought they finished high school and they're living in a dormitory with their children. Not an
I
easy
was,
situation.
Avi, I was in Amona earlier today with its German TV channel. It's called Bible TV,
Yeah.
and they came and they know it was the first time they came to Amona, and they have a show in the footsteps of Abraham. And
We should have a show like that in Israeli television,
yeah,
right?
why not? Yeah, but you have to go to German TV to have in the footsteps of Abraham.
Right.
And I asked them, what do you want to hear? And they said, okay, no fluff, just tell me. And we went up to Amona, and the guys simply asked me, okay, so what's going to happen here? The mountain was erased from buildings.
Right.
Nothing is there right now. And they says, okay, where are the Arabs? They asked me. And I told them, no Arabs are coming here. And this is why, because maybe they had a claim to own these properties here in
Right.
Amona. And I told them, basically, retroactively, you can simply say that no Arab ever proved anything to own anything on the mountain of Amona. And they told me, okay, so please explain to me what the hell was the whole story about. So I told them, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I told them, okay, Yesh Din, a leftist leftist organization, they came and they brought Arabs having a claim without any proof. And they came to the Supreme High Court. And the Supreme High Court called the government. That says, okay, there is an Arab claiming here that he owns something in Amona, basically 2% of the area of Amona, and the Supreme High Court called the government and asked them, okay, so the Arab and the Yesh Din, they claim. So what do you say, dear government and dear Israel state? And the state said, we don't really know whether it's his or not, but we don't really care because these people didn't have all the proper papers when they built Amona with our,
With the government support.
Yeah, support and all the push and the electricity and sewers and whatever, all the facilities and infrastructure. But so they don't have all the papers, so we will destroy these places. This is eventually
The whole community of 42 families.
The whole
Let's just
community,
destroy.
and not only the 2% that the unproven claim was on, but the rest of the 98% as well.
I call it legal injustice.
Yeah. So in 7 weeks ago, Amona was destroyed. The Arabs who didn't prove anything have nothing to do on the mountain.
Right, it's not given to them.
So the German TV, it was like, oh, bummer. So what's going to happen here? And I said, okay, nothing. The community was ruined for nothing. And I told him, it was the situation here in the state of Israel is the same as it was in the wild west. Simply at the beginning, the process was usually, you go west, you claim, you live there, and later on the government comes and gives you all the proper documentation and papers, and all the legal aspects are being tended to. And here in Amona, the legal system simply kicked us out without any real claim. No, the situation was there was no actual private property of anyone. Aside, we can leave aside all the question of whether the Arabs own this land or we Jews whose identity was formed here on these mountains and hilltops owns the right, and we are the indigenous population to this area. Yes.
Right? And I'm gonna ask Elad because he has an amazing story proving our indigenousness here in this land. But the other thing, since Eli was bringing up this history, the other of what happened to Amona, the other thing I like to tell people, it's horrible how the legal system and the media and the politicians, and they use the term private Palestinian land, right? They always say, oh, it's private Palestinian land. And people think that means we're stealing their lands, right? So the German comes thinking, oh, we stole their land, so they're going to get it back. No. Everyone, please understand, the term private Palestinian land is a misnomer. It doesn't mean that it's owned by anyone. It just means it's not Israeli state-owned land. That's the horrible term that the legal system has used to define non-state-owned land. It doesn't mean it's privately owned by anyone. It's just not state-owned, and it's really crazy.
But the fact that it's not state-owned, it's not a pure judicial fact, because you have to understand that the King Hussein of Jordan, he annexed the land in 1952.
Right.
Or 1950, I don't remember.
And the illegal Jordanian occupation between 1948 to 1967.
Yeah. And he took the state land and he gave them to the people. Now, he didn't really give them to the people. He changed the documentation in Ramallah.
Right.
Okay, which is the city where we're in the area of that major city.
Right.
Major Arab city. Now, he changed the documentation there, and then he wanted to claim taxes and things like that. So he told them, this is yours. Now, he didn't even tell them, just change the documentation.
Right.
And now, you see what the leftist Israeli people who are in the officials, right? They're putting on their agenda. And what they did out of this is that this is a private property. But you have to understand, on the basic terms, it was never a private property.
Right.
It was belonged to the state.
Right.
And since the Jordanians changed it against the international law, they don't care about that.
Right.
Because what Israel takes as for granted is that what the Jordanian did, it's like
it's holy.
Right, holy, right. The illegal, only Israel respects paperwork from an illegal occupation of Jordan between 1968 and 48 and 1967. Crazy. All right, but I want to jump to Elad and the unbelievable historic wine press right near your home, which one day you're going to go back to, Elad. One day you're going to go back and rebuild there. I know it.
Hopefully.
I know it. One day, Bezrat Hashem. Please ask Elad to speak louder. It's hard to hear him. Okay, you got it. Thank you, Michal. So Elad, his home in Amona, which is now destroyed, unfortunately, which will be rebuilt, was right next to a historic wine press. Tell us about that historic wine press, Elad.
Well, that wine press we're there.
That's right. You took me there.
It's built out of it's a very large a place where you can step the grapes.
It's 5.5 meters, I think.
Yeah.
15 or 15 feet.
15 on 15 feet. It's huge. Huge
Something like
wine
that.
press, right?
And it's carved in the stone. And by there are three holes that are carved to the ground, which they used all of the grape juice that was made there would go over there, and then it would go
And it would filter it out.
Yeah, it would be filtered, and then would be put somewhere to store it. But
it was a natural wine press dug into the rocks of the Sumerian hills here. Unbelievable. So,
which means that there was a huge wine factory there, which all of the area was filled with grapes. Now you have to understand that grapes, the Muslims, they're not allowed to drink wine. And so it is definitely not something that was done by the Muslims. And we have someone who gave us a lecture here about archaeology and winemaking in Israel, in ancient Israel. And he said that this kind of wine press It's from the first
First temple.
Yeah, from the times of the first temple. This is an ordinary wine press from the first temple.
Okay, so, and we're talking about this because when we talk about who the indigenous people are, well, Elad lived next to a wine press from the first temple times, and it was only done by Jews. We're home. This is our land. Elad was living next to it, and you will live next to it again one day, Bezrat Hashem. But that's our connection to the land. And yet we have a Supreme Court going according to illegal paperwork by an illegal occupation of the Jordanians between 1948 and 1960. It's crazy. Any case, I just wanted to have all of you be able to see these special people from Amona, connect with them, even though they're not necessarily in the headlines anymore. They're still waiting. See, they're sleeping on bunk beds while waiting for new homes to be built that haven't been started yet.
It's so clean out here. It's awesome.
Yeah, we're very impressed. We're very impressed with how clean it all is here. But yeah, they're living in. Someone's saying, "Wow, Avigail." Yeah, this is the parents' room, right?
Yeah, this is the parents' room.
This is the parents' room. This is the parents'
You
bunk
can
bed.
make the
We were
grand tour
in.
again.
Yeah, we could. I could show you the other side of the. Here we'll go. I'll be right back. Ready? Right here. Here we're going. Bathroom, kitchen. Right, kitchen. And here is the kids' room, 6 beds for kids in their dormitory. This is a dormitory. 42 families are living in a dormitory, and new homes haven't even begun to be built for them, and they're not going to take overnight. So I just want to bring all of you into the real world, behind the headlines. They're not even in the headlines anymore, but these are real people. And please share this video so people can see the truth. They're still here. They're still waiting. They still need our prayers. They still need us to be thinking about them. And we don't want this to happen to anyone else. The time has come. And it's interesting. Just before, I was with Menorah Chazani. Menorah Chazani is making a movie about the history of resettling Judea and Samaria. Her father, Benny Katzever, was one of the pioneers. And even back then, in the 1960s, the struggles. They went up to Elam Moreh. They were removed 7 times until finally it was built. Hebron, same story. Removed by the government until finally rebuilt. It's just so sad to see the faces. We're paying the price for our struggle for us to reclaim and liberate our land, k'mo shetzarich. But I don't know what everyone. You want to give me messages? Tell me messages I can tell them because people are writing things. I haven't wrote.
No, you want to speak with some about hope, Avi?
Do I want to speak?
No, I think we can talk about hope.
Talk about hope, Ellie. Let's go. Wait a second.
Okay. So
Toda, AJ's writing. Toda, praying for Israel and our people. That's heartbreaking. Yes, it is heartbreaking. What else? Keep the updates coming. Amazing. Okay. Yes, hope. Ellie, give us hope.
no, it's not. It's a tiny anecdote
Go for it.
because I was speaking with the English-speaking communities and media lately before the expulsion. The
Expulsion.
expulsion from Amona, and suddenly I started receiving many messages and groups coming from the Christian world, paying attention, asking questions, asking who exactly are the pioneers of Amona. What was the message of the community? What we wanted to achieve and why we came there. All the questions of meaning and the inner space of the world, not only the political and judicial atmosphere. So. And suddenly, it dawned on me while talking to some people, a Christian community from Zichron Yaakov, it's they were called Kibbutz Bet El, and they asked me what happened to me during the days when I was kicked out of my place in Amona, and suddenly I came to understand. I told them I became a priest. And they asked me, what do you mean you became a priest? And I said, okay, you come to me asking for a message, asking for the people of Amona, what do you want to teach the world? This is what they asked me. What can you teach us something from what the spiritual spiritual luggage metaphorically that you carry? And I told them, okay. I became a priest because, and they asked me why a priest, and I told them, okay, priests were teachers to the world, and they had no land. And suddenly I told them, okay, so I am a teacher, I teach, And then, you know, the government made me a priest. So they took my properties. And then I started feeling and started understanding, yeah, that a major part of the world's redemption and the world's blessing from God that we have and need to attain is by being teachers to the whole world. And you know, it was so sad for me, my personal, you know, tragedy, and my community's and my friends' tragedy. But suddenly, people start coming and asking questions, and they say, "Okay, talk to us." And the nice group of they're called the Hayuvel, the great guy, the guys coming to work in Har Bracha vineyards,
The fields, yeah.
yeah, in the fields there. They came and they asked me to come, and we had like 3 hours. It was a get together, and suddenly I personally started understanding that, you know, we have a role in the world. The world came to us because we are Amona. We are in the focal attention of the media and everybody for a while. But suddenly I realized that so many people are deeply interested in what we have to say as Jews in the heart of the Bible land. The way we perceive God, the way we perceive the land of Israel, Judah and Shomron, the way we perceive justice and mercy and grace and God's providence on His people. So all these things, all these concepts suddenly became more live, became more, and I started understanding that we have a role. And the fact that we are in such a strife in the tumultuous Middle East, it only prevents us from seeing that we have so many things to do, important things to do and give to the world. So it woke me up in a way. That, you know, being, you know, returning to being maybe, you know, a tiny priest for the nations, you know, doing Facebook Lives for communities interested in what we have to say, the way we perceive Torah and God and the relationships that we should have with all the good people in the world. That's my personal experience.
Wow, I can't. I don't think I can add to anything here. Here you're hearing directly from families from Eli and Elad here who lived in Amona and now temporarily in Ofra. Those of you who are just joining, thank you so much for joining. Please share this video. We want to share the truth with everyone. Just catching everyone up to speed. They're now living in dormitories here. Here you're hearing these inspirational words from Eli, who's now a priest because he's landless and propertyless, which is so sad, and yet he could still laugh, which shows you the power of attitude and humor to allow us to overcome the hardest and craziest of situations. But here we are, they're living in a dormitory, right? Husband and wife live here in this dormitory, children on the other side, communal dining rooms. Right, the whole community, they now a kibbutz, they all get together for 3 meals a day. The laundry. Someone's asking, do you guys have a website yet? How do we keep in touch with you all online besides through Avi? If there are things you need now, Bezrat Hashem, we can all rally behind you. Avigail, I will be in touch with you. Send me a Facebook message. I will put you in touch and send you information, send you links. There are definitely ways you can help. So thank you so much for that, Abigail. Yeah, laundry every day, right? Every day they put together, every family puts together their laundry, puts it in bags, and brings it to the communal laundromat. There is like, on the one hand, you could say, oh, great, they get their laundry done every day. But folks, think about it. There's no privacy.
I lost half of my socks.
I'm sure more than socks are disappearing. And it's a crazy, crazy situation. God has truly blessed Israel. He has promised He will not forsake it. Listen, let me tell you this. 70 years ago, we were going to be destroyed. We were going to be gone to the world. And look at us today. So we still have hardships, but if you look at the Jewish people, you look at the state of Israel today, we still have a lot more challenges to overcome. We have our own internal challenges within our own internal people, our own government, our own media, our own brothers and sisters here in Israel who are against us growing and making Israel a proud Jewish country, but we are overcoming it. And we still have these bumps in the road, and it's unfortunate to me that great people like Elad and Eli and their families are paying the price with their own livelihoods and lives as part of this redemption process we're in. Abigail joined a group of friends. Michal's talking about a Facebook group. So, God, thank you so much for bringing us in to the reality, to what's going on with you guys today, where you are. We're all praying for you. Anyone who wants more information, contact me. I will put you in touch with them. Follow the Amona and Ofra group of friends of Amona and Ofra on Facebook. And yeah, let's just...
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Kol Tuv, everyone. And we're just, again, we're in Ofra. 40 years ago, there was no Ofra. So, even though there's no Amona now, there will be an Amona Aleph, Amona Bet, Amona Gimel. Whether they're going to be there, their children, their grandchildren, or you, we're going to make it happen.
Amen.
Shalom.
Amen.